So, have you ever stared blankly at your screen, totally frustrated after asking an AI for help with a discussion post or a short answer? And what do you get back? Something that's just surprisingly short, completely inconsistent, or honestly, a disorganized mess. You feed it this incredibly thoughtful question, and it spits back one or two generic sentences that wouldn't even pass a middle school pop quiz. Look, if you've been there, you're absolutely not alone. But here's the thing, and it's a really fascinating truth about how large language models, or LLMs, actually operate. AI actually excels at short-form content. We're talking specifically about that 100 to 700 word sweet spot. Why? Well, when you push these models to write massive, sprawling text all at once, they hit memory limit issues. They quite literally lose the global picture of what they're writing about and totally forget the instructions you gave them at the very beginning. But within this sweet spot, they can maintain incredible focus, logic, and consistency. You just need to know exactly how to guide them. Welcome to this explainer. I am so incredibly thrilled you're here with us today. Our main goal? To completely demystify prompt engineering. We're going to take you from someone who gets frustrated by AI and turn you into an absolute master of short-form content. We'll be pulling insights directly from expert resources on crafting precise prompts for discussion essays, showing you exactly how to get the highest quality output every single time. All right, let's dive right in. Here's our quick roadmap for today. First, the AI writing struggle. Second, fixing vague AI prompts. Third, step-by-step AI iteration. And finally, rules for AI success. Starting off with Section 1, the AI writing struggle, and why AI writing sometimes fails. Let's figure out exactly why AI sometimes feels like a completely stubborn student who is flat out ignoring your instructions. Honestly, the root of the problem usually isn't the AI itself. It's how we're talking to it. If you treat AI like a simple search engine and throw a basic question at it, like, what are the most pressing environmental issues facing our planet today and what steps can individuals take, you're gonna get highly inconsistent one or two sentence replies back. Now, to a human, that seems like a perfectly fine question, right? But it fails here because you left the format completely ambiguous. A proper discussion response needs multiple paragraphs. The AI didn't give you that simply because it wasn't explicitly told to. Moving into Section 2, fixing vague AI prompts and creating clear structure. We really have to shift away from this vague cross your fingers and hope for the best approach and move to a highly structured, intentional method. Take a real discussion question from a college history course. Was the Civil War a conflict over expansion? Agree or disagree, and why? For us humans, that works. We instantly understand the unspoken expectations of a classroom setting. But for AI, that is way too open-ended. Instead, we rewrite it to give the AI a very clear, specific historical target to hit. Something like, explain the causes of the Civil War and whether expansion played a role. Include evidence. See the difference? We're giving it a specific job to do. The absolutely crucial point here is that context alone just isn't enough. You also need formatting instructions. You literally have to explicitly state the structure you require. Look at the specific language. Write a highly detailed essay with an introduction, 2 to 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. Using a term like essay is an absolute secret weapon in prompt engineering, and there's a really fascinating reason why this works so well. When you give AI explicit structural boundaries, you drastically reduce its cognitive load. Instead of spending computational power trying to guess what shape your answer should be, it anchors itself to the inherent structural definition of the word essay. It knows an essay has a beginning, a middle, and an end. By using that specific word and outlining the exact paragraphs, the AI is instantly programmed to behave, preventing it from wandering off topic. That brings us to Section 3, step-by-step AI iteration and refining AI outputs. Listen, if there's only one thing you take away from this entire explainer today, let it be this. The absolute best AI writing is almost never a single magical command. It's an ongoing conversation. Think of it kind of like constructing a massive Lego castle. You wouldn't just throw all the pieces in the air and expect a perfectly formed castle to land on the table, right? No way. You have to build it piece by piece. First, you start small. Second, you build gradually. And third, you constantly review and improve. Let's walk through exactly what this macro process looks like in practice. Okay, so here's our start small step. We're taking a wonderfully complex philosophical question. Is math invented or discovered? Now pay close attention to the prompt. We aren't asking for the whole essay yet. We're simply saying, write a beginning paragraph responding to the question and asking it to use careful reasoning. We're just testing the waters here. We want to limit the AI scope and see exactly how it handles just the foundation of our Lego castle. And here's the AI's initial output. Quote, There is much debate among philosophers and mathematicians as to whether math was invented or discovered. Concepts of numbers, ratios, and geometric shapes are observed in the natural world. End quote. I mean, this is fantastic. It sets up the debate perfectly and immediately brings in observations from the natural world. But, and this is absolutely key, it's just the beginning. It is literally only the first block in our iterative process. Now we move on to the build gradually step. And honestly, this is a brilliantly simple prompt strategy. We tell the AI, here is what I have so far, and we literally feed the AI's own successful first paragraph right back to it. Then we give a highly targeted command, write the next paragraph of my essay. This forces the AI to read what has already been established and logically expand the argument. Why does this work like magic? Because it locks the AI into the exact context, the tone, and the pacing that it just established. By feeding its own text back to it, you stop the AI from shifting voices, totally losing the plot, or wildly hallucinating some weird new formatting. It keeps the model entirely focused on the very next logical step. And guess what? The result is a massive success. The AI generates. On the other hand, some argue that math is largely an invention of the human mind. Mathematical principles are based on logical reasoning. Look at that. It perfectly pivots to the opposing argument, maintaining the exact tone and flow of that first paragraph. This right here is undeniable proof of how this incremental, step-by-step method produces a coherence and high-end quality that a massive one-shot prompt almost never achieves. Finally, we have Section 4, Rules for AI Success and Tips for Better Writing. Now that you've seen the methodology actually working in action, let's quickly unpack these rules. We really want to leave you with a tangible mental checklist you can use the very next time you sit down to write with AI. First, be specific in your requests. Remember the massive difference between just saying, write about the Civil War, versus asking the AI to explain economic factors with specific, evidence-based examples. Second, ask for structure. Do not leave the format to chance, guys. Demand an introduction, body paragraphs, and a conclusion. Third, improve step by step. As tempting as it is, resist the urge to ask for the whole thing all at once. Write the intro, review it, then ask for the next part. And finally, check and verify. And actually, that last rule brings us to a super vital reminder. AI is an incredibly powerful writing partner, but it is just that, a partner. It's not an autonomous author. It absolutely requires you to be in the driver's seat. You still need to fact-check those historical dates, ensure the tone sounds natural to your actual voice, and guarantee that the ideas connect logically from one point to the next. You bring the human insight, the lived experience, and the critical thinking that the machine fundamentally lacks. Without you steering the ship, the AI is really just generating empty words. Which leaves us with a rather fascinating question to ponder. As you go out there and master prompt engineering, as you're structuring perfect paragraphs and orchestrating these brilliant step-by-step iterations, if the AI physically generates the text of the perfect essay based entirely on your specific instructions, who's the real author? Are you the writer or are you the director? It's definitely something to chew on as you test out your new prompt engineering skills. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy prompting.